All right, so we're up on YouTube now.
Thank you.
Showing about 7:29. We'll give it another 45 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, I'll let you know when it's 7:30 officially.
Okay.
Clicks over. Okay, Matt, it's 7:30.
Okay, good evening. Let's call to order the April meeting for the Boone County Board of Education. It's April 16th, 2020. We are meeting in a bit of an unconventional manner due to the situation we find ourselves in with coronavirus and the social distancing and isolation and so forth. So we appreciate everyone who's joined us remotely. We have a panel of folks here from the school board as well as district office and the school district to run the meeting tonight. I do want to open up and just quickly say, you know, it's ironic, it's disappointing that we can't have good news items tonight because there's been so much good stuff that's happening in the school district and in the community here over the last few weeks. First, I want to thank Dr. Poe and his team at the district office for the leadership that they've shown, literally turning on a dime to one day be teaching in the class and then a few days later to be teaching remotely and via NTI. Certainly the leadership at the buildings out at the schools, from principals down through teachers and the classified staff, just really picking up the ball and running quickly and running really well to help deliver the best service that we can for our students and for our families. You know, saying all that, realizing that none of this has been perfect. A lot of it's been very, very difficult for our students. It's been very difficult for many of our families. And I think, again, you know, what we're seeing across the district is just people stepping up in countless ways, whether that's getting food out to families, whether that's, you know, meeting a student or a family kind of where they are on their technology limitations, and just going that extra mile to make sure that, you know, students feel, I guess, as comfortable, as calm as they can in these uncertain times. So thanks a lot from the board's perspective. We really appreciate everything you're doing. And so with that, let's go ahead and we'll, does anybody else on the board have anything they want to say in that manner, in that regard? If not, let's go to item 2.
We don't have it on there, but technically we should go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance to start our particular meeting, even though we're doing it virtually.
Yep. Okay, we can do that. Let's do the pledge. I
I
pledge
pledge allegiance to the
flag
flag of the United States
States of America
and to the republic
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. All right, good job. Okay, so that brings us to item 2, recommended action consent agenda. Dr. Poe.
Yes, Mr. Chairperson, I recommend consent agenda actions items A through G with the treasurer's report given by Ms. Linda Shield.
All right, we started the month with a cash balance of $62,998,035. Our total revenues for the month were $9,398,284. Our expenses for the month were $11,786,791. We had a net decrease in cash for the month of $2,388,507. Our ending balance was $60,609,528. Some of the notable items for the month, we have collected 99% of our budgeted general property taxes. We also collected $2.3 million in occupational license taxes. Now, I've noted that our collections to date exceed our budgeted revenues by 5%. But what I need to clarify is that we received some of last year's revenues a little bit late. We received a large payment in July and October. So all of those revenues are not relative to this particular year, and that was about 4 million. And I'm saying that although our collections look good at this point, this tax will be the line item that's most impacted by the COVID-19 situation. So we're anticipating lowering our budget projections, not only for the remainder of this year, but the next school year as well. We made transfers of close to 175,000 for the Ignite operation, and I've attached the report on the Ignite financial activity. Some other operating expenses reflect expected levels and are comparable to last year, last year's levels of spending. Now, you may have noticed that architect fees are higher this year, and that is due to the KFix project. If you're familiar, it's the process of inventorying and assessing all of our facilities. The debt service payments for the month were $1,079,000. I've provided all of the normal comparative reports, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you. We have a recommendation to have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Maria and Karen. Any questions or discussion on the consent agenda? I saw a few questions going back and forth for clarification already, but just anything we need to address tonight? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. So that brings us to item 3, recommended action, old business. We don't have any old business, so that brings us to item 4, recommended action, new business. Oh, I guess item A, use of emergency days, SB 177, Dr. Poe.
Yes, I recommend the following consent agendas. The following recommended new business: A, use of emergency days, SB 177 as presented.
We have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Recommendation, Karen, second, Julie. Discussion or questions?
Just a statement. This is in response to the governor's emergency days for this year only, and it just gives us the opportunity to utilize emergency days as the governor and the commissioner has presented. So it doesn't change anything for the future, just for this COVID-19 period till the end of school year.
Right. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. So that brings us to item B, last instructional day for 2019-2020 and the BCEA closing day agreement. Dr.
Yeah, this is where some of the students will be tuning in tonight to hear, so they're looking forward to this recommendation. I recommend new business item B, the last instructional day for 2019 and 2020 would be May 13th, and the BCA closing day agreement, moving the day in relationship to the primary that was switched out that we don't have to be closed on, and making that a school day, moving our closing date up by 1 day as presented.
Okay, we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Recommendation, Troy. Maria Brown. Any questions or comments there? Randy, the only thing I would add there is probably some parents may be happy too that their
Well,
their
yeah, I
teaching
think they would
days are a
like
little
to
shorter.
know. especially in relationship to, some of the businesses and so forth opening back up, what is taking place so that they can also prepare for summer transition where they would be having their summer, daycare, preschool types of activities that are transpiring. So this just allows us to set that date. I do not think that we have a conference call with the governor again next week, but I think that since the legislature has changed to the 1,062, that's what we're presenting for you. I do not see them moving that less than that. So that will allow us to close based on that. There will be some schools that might get some days waived because they couldn't turn around with NTI that may have to go into the middle of June if there's no relief. But I don't see any other additional relief except for the 1,062 hours.
Yep. Okay, any additional questions? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion will carry. That brings us to item C, waiver of board policy 8.221, grading due to COVID-19. Dr. Poe.
Yes, I recommend new business item C, the waiver of board policy 08-221, the grading to eliminate final exams this year due to COVID-19. It would just be too difficult for us to try to administer our exams when the state test and everything else has been waived at this particular time too. So we're asking you to waive final exams for middle and high school and elementary, but elementary do not give them.
Yep. Okay, so we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Maria, second Karen. Any discussion? Randy, I had a quick question. So this is waiving the requirement of the exam, right? If a teacher decided to still give an exam, they could, is that right?
Well, this is the board policy requires a final exam that's up to 10 to 20% of the final grade.
Right.
In the relationship of this being NTI, what is occurring is because of equity issues that we realize that some students do not have online where they can test and that we can even proctor. So we could not do final exams this particular year. This does not affect a teacher from doing regular grades in their classroom on projects or whatever. This just, for us to administer exams the last 3 days, there would be about 8% of our students who could not take the final exam and their grade would suffer tremendously since we do not have or can't bring them in to take a final exam either, given social distancing at this time. So it does not preclude a teacher from having regular tests, but it does preclude our district from making them do final exams.
Right. Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion will carry. That brings us to item 5, information, proposals, and communications. Does anybody have an update or something they want to share?
I will just share that, as you stated at the earlier part, I just want to thank our team. Our team's done an excellent particular job on turning around the NTI. I also want to send out a special thanks to our cafeteria workers who's working to feed our children and our bus drivers who's working to deliver that, plus who's working to deliver those NTI packets where students do not have an internet connection at home. They've been doing a tremendous job and we're very thankful for them. And I think that they just deserved a nice little shout out specifically for going above and beyond of what is normally called for them to do. So I just want to make sure that on the record that I said thank you to them.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, anything else from the board?
No, but I mean, we have been asked several questions, so I think you were going to do this anyway, but if not, if you could just give us a brief update on the search. We've had a lot of questions or phone calls because of the original thing put out that a decision might have been made tonight and it was not on the agenda. We had a lot of calls to the district office on that. And we said that more than likely during the information report, you might give an update on where that stands to update the guidelines.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely planning to do that. I was just making sure nobody else had anything else. So yeah, we were never planning to make an announcement tonight. I'm not sure where that came from, but we are well into the process. So, you know, the board's been, you know, was handed the candidates about a month to 5 weeks ago, I guess now. So we're well into the process. The COVID situation has complicated some issues, key being how much time can we spend face-to-face with candidates, which is, we feel is really important. It's a very important decision. We want to make sure there's comfort on both sides, right? Not just the board being comfortable with who we bring in, but we want to make sure they're extremely comfortable with us. So, you know, slowed a little, but our expectation is to be able to bring closure to the process in the next few weeks. We don't have an exact date, but the next few weeks we expect to be able to come to a final decision and make an announcement here shortly. So that's where we are with it.
And I will add thank you to Karen Evans, who has not only had to schedule 785 meetings, but has had to figure out to do them virtually online. She's fielded about 12 jobs right now. So thank you, Karen. We appreciate you.
Yes, she's done a great job.
Absolutely.
And Chad's had to jump
Oh yeah,
in.
Chad. He's the guy in the background always helping.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Yeah, good job, guys. Okay, anything else? That brings us to item 6, closed executive session. We do not have one, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn. And just a quick reminder to the board, we have to stay on to do the finance meeting, so don't get too excited, but we'll be quick. To adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
Maria and Julie, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We are adjourned.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.
Staff
Thanks, everybody.
not staying
Yep.
around.
Okay, so let's call to order the Finance Corporation of the Boone County Board of Education, April 16, 2020 meeting. We'll move quickly to item 2 on the agenda. I couldn't find my piece of paper here. Approval of minutes and financial statements from our March 12th meeting. Items A and B. Dr. Poe.
Yes, Mr. Chairperson, I recommend approval of minutes and financial statements. Item A and B is presented, approval of minutes of the March 12th, 2020 meeting, and the approval of the financial statements of the Finance Corporation.
Okay, we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
Motion Karen, second Julie. Questions, discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. That brings us to item 3, adjournment. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Maria and Karen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We are adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you.
Guys, have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
You too.
Thanks,
Everybody
everybody.
have a good one. Stay safe.